Boom! We're back, baby! Paul Esnan Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. It's time for a game day episode of Boy Green Daily. New York Jets, Atlanta Falcons. My beard being gone. Back home. Good, bad, ugly. All of that and more coming up. Let's go.
I'm going to lose my gosh darn bananas. Boy Green Daily starts now. Zoinks!
Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily. Let's go!
Put your seatbelts on. Get ready for the ride. We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm Paul Eston Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. Welcome to Boy Green Daily, a daily New York Jets video show, also available wherever you get your podcast. It feels good to be home. It was like a 9 or 10 hour drive yesterday, for God's sakes, with traffic and stops and this and that. I mean, good Lord. But we're home, and that's what's important. It's good to be here for a significant period of time moving forward, and we're back here for our game day broadcast. We're going to have this pregame morning show. We're going to have the live watch party, play-by-play analysis, and the postgame show. All that coming up here on the program. And by the way, yes, wearing the Brett Favre New York Titans jersey throwbacks, because he is both a legend of the New York Jets and of the Atlanta Falcons when he was Brett Favre. Yes, give that a Goog search, kids, and maybe you'll get it. Without further ado, let's welcome in my special co-host for today's festivities. It's been a hot second since we've had him on, but absence makes the heart grow fonder. And fonder I am. NFL insider Matt Lombardo, baby, between the hash marks, graces us with his presence. Good morning, Matt.
Good morning, Paul. I love the Jets today against the Falcons almost as much as I love the Titans throwback jersey. So tremendous. Great day to bust it out, too.
100%. Well, as we're getting this party started here, like the video, hit subscribe. That's a free way to contribute. But if you want to go above and beyond, not just for our raffle prize, which we'll talk about in a little bit. Today's the last day. Tomorrow's December. I got to get on all my Christmas spending, but that's actually a good plug here, Matt, because in our YouTube description down below, you've got a certain special Cyber Monday deal for Between the Hash Marks.
I do, and it is exclusive to people who are already free subscribers to Between the Hash Marks as a thank you for them helping us become one of the fastest growing publications on Substack. And I wanted to throw it to your loyal listeners and viewers. First of all, if you're a Jets fan, you should be a member of the Boy Green Coffee Club. Do that today. Lock it in. Get your raffle tickets. Paul's work is tremendous. It deserves to be supported. But if you want to take the leap, and you want to become a paid subscriber to Between the Hash Marks, get in on the premium plan. The Cyber Monday special begins today. It's 55% off forever. That's for annual plans or for monthly plans. So it's 55% off. And of course, join the coffee club. But even though we might not get into the Jets quite as much during the regular season, you think about the cap space, you think about the draft picks, you think about the future draft capital. I spend my off seasons in Mobile, Alabama at the Senior Bowl talking to and meeting new NFL executives and sources and scouts and agents, figuring out what these teams are thinking about going into the draft. The Jets are going to be a hot topic. Tap into those same sources going into free agency. So if you want in-depth analysis, you want the Monday column, you want the breaking news breakdowns, come on over. 55% off forever at Between the Hash Marks. The link is down below. I appreciate you giving me a chance to fill the people in, Paul.
Well, that's a crazy friggin' deal, so hopefully people jump on that. I don't know how the hell you can afford it, but hey, that's not my business, all right? If you're the one cracking these deals, and people should be taking full advantage of those in the YouTube description down below. Matt, you mentioned that you like the Jets in this matchup, and when you butterball my turkey, well, I've got to dive in. Why do you love the Jets in this matchup today? New York Jets, Atlanta Falcons. Why do you like it? Give me the deets.
Yeah, I look at the way the Falcons are playing right now, and I'm not sure that there are many coaches sitting on a hotter seat than Raheem Morris. And I think that it's starting to become pretty warranted with the way they've played. They've lost five of six. It's not great going into this game. And you talk about the Falcons offense being Bijan Robinson and everybody else. Well, everybody else is Drake London. and Drake London's not playing. So you don't have the threat of the top receiver. Darnell Mooney's playing all right, I guess. But even Bijan Robinson, they've found a way to take one of the most explosive and agile running backs and elusive running backs in the league and turn him into kind of a non-factor in that offense, right? I mean, he's been under 100 yards 5 of the last 6 games. His only touchdowns going back to October came 2 weeks ago against the Panthers when he had 2 rushing touchdowns. So not great. And it just seems like if there's a spot for the Jets to pick up a win, to win one for the Glenner, if you will, instead of the Gipper, and build that culture just a little bit, it feels like this is the opportunity to go out and do it and do it in front of the home fans.
And 2 fun running backs in this one. Bijan and Breece Hall are 2 of the most complete running backs in football. A lot of fun, super talented. Now, you mentioned with your promotion of Between the Hash Marks, which again, data that you do description down below. You mentioned in there that in season, there's not a lot of Jets action happening. They're 2-9, and now they have a chance today, depending on what happens, to be mathematically eliminated from the playoffs officially. We all know it's going to happen inevitably, but officially it could happen as early as today here. And the reason being, of course, is that the Jets' record is very terrible. But there was a lot of hope and optimism in the offseason. Hey, first-year head coach, sometime, or, in a new year, even if they've been a retread before. You think about Mike Vrabel and the New England Patriots. Mike Vrabel's first interview came with the Jets before he took the Patriots gig, and now the Patriots have a chance to be the first 11-win team in football on Monday night. Ben Johnson, Aaron Glenn's running mate, they're in Detroit. The Bears just took out the Philadelphia Eagles on Friday. That felt like easy money, by the way. Bears +7 all day long.
And give me that. Let me eat that bet like a Thanksgiving turkey sandwich. It's like a gobbler.
Although, as much as I appreciated doing that bet on the Manchot Show, I should probably stay away from the bets. Matt,
you probably should have. I wanted to bring this up too because I see the trimmed beard. I remember you making the bet, and you said that you had to shave the beard. That's not shaved. That's trimmed. That's like stopping short. You remember the Seinfeld episode "Stopping Short"? That's kind of the move that you just pulled off here with the trim. I want to find out whoever you made this wager with and see if he approves trimming the beard. It's a great look. I mean, you look svelte. I like the look. I can get used to it. But I think you half-assed this one a little bit.
Yeah, very possible. By the way, in case you missed it on a previous episode of Boy Green Daily,
I bet on the Jets, which is normally never a good sign, and I bet for them to win the last 2 weeks. They didn't, and now I have to shave my beard for a bet with Alon.
Whoa, mamacita. Okay, there we go. I don't know. The food was in there. I don't know if there's a bird in there. No beard, so Alon... There you go. Man of my word. 1.5 across that thing. Wow. Okay. Whoa. I have not had that in a while. Whoa. We'll see you guys next time. Yeah, the before and after pictures are pretty stark.
1.5 is like this. 1.5 is what I do on the side of my head, not my beard. A beard. It's not a beard shave. Come on, man.
Hey, I just appreciate.
Did Alon approve? Did Alon approve?
He did.
Okay,
well, actually, there was a whole thing. So, originally, he fought for what you said. He fought for the clean shaven. I'm like, hell no, I'm not that dumb. But and then we negotiated down, and then it ended up being a 1.5 thing. Well, at first I thought it was a 2. He's like, nah, it's a 1.5, buddy. Take another chunk off that baby. I said, you know what? Fine, 1.5 across the whole thing, and they did. So yeah, my betting days are over. Although shout out to Bears +7, booyah on Black Friday football. That was pretty good. But again, there was an optimism before the season on AG. And a lot of these first-year head coach, I mentioned Ben Johnson, Chicago, Mike Vrabel at the Patriots, and everything that, man, there's just a newness. There's a new year. There's new possibilities. Yeah. But unfortunately, while Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson may have been in the same room last year, they're in many different stratospheres now as the Bears control the NFC North and the Jets are fighting for a top 3 pick in the NFL draft. So is there some hope for the future, man? Is there any parallels we can make between these former Lions coordinators and perhaps can provide some optimism for Jet fans, do you think, or am I grasping at straws here?
No, I don't think you're grasping at straws because I think that, you look at the Bears resurgence, I think it's really three things, right? It's Caleb Williams is on the right track. I spoke to a scout for my Four Downs Monday column last week, talked to him for 15 minutes after that Bears game about, what's powering the Bears resurgence. And he said they have to love what Caleb Williams is doing. His footwork in the pocket is so much improved. His decision making is better. You'd like to see the accuracy take a big step because he didn't miss anybody at USC 2 years ago, but the accuracy is still a concern, but he's better. So the Bears had the quarterback established, and you hired a quarterback whisperer to fix him, and you imported one of the most dominant offenses in football to build around him with a prolific running game. They go out, they draft Kyle Monangai, they had DeAndre Swift. You have the pieces after drafting Colston Loveland to run the Lions offense, and they have an identity. I don't know what the Jets' identity is right now, right? That's the worry. So you have the hope that if you can get the quarterback, if you can get Mendoza, if you can get Arch Manning, who is ascending, he's not the same quarterback that he was in September or October. If you get Arch Manning and you get a quarterback, you trade for a veteran, whatever route you take. If you get the quarterback, that's the big first step, right? Secondly, I wonder if Tanner Engstrand is the guy. I think that if we want to talk about the Bears making this leap, if we want to talk about the Patriots making this leap, the Bears, they hire a former head coach and defensive coordinator, Dennis Allen, right? So you have a first-time head coach, but you have a guy in the office down the hall who's been the head coach. You can knock on his door when you're trying to figure out philosophies and strategies. Plus, you can let him be the head coach of the defense. You bring Aaron Glenn in, first-time head coach. You look at New England, Mike Vrabel, a great veteran head coach. You bring in the offensive coordinator, Josh McDaniels.
Yeah.
Right. The Eagles won a Super Bowl with Doug Peterson as the head coach, former head coach Frank Reich, veteran defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz. I just don't – I think they need to get the coaching staff right here. I really think that you need to pull the ripcord on doubling down on the Lions' identity, get an experienced play caller, maybe one of these head coaches that gets whacked. Maybe it's Mike McDaniel. Maybe it's, somebody who has called plays before to kind of be that sounding board for Aaron Glenn. You need to get the coaching staff right, and then you need an identity. And the Jets, I think that comes from spending big with the cap space they have, drafting right, and I think that you're a year or two away from being what the Bears are and what the Patriots are. And in today's NFL, with the cap space they have, it could be a one-year rebuild, right? You saw the Commanders do it last year. It wasn't sustainable because they went too far in on the veteran side of things. But you can do it in a year or two. And I think they have the resources to turn it around.
Yeah, I would say this. I think the thing that surprised a lot of us, so Aaron Glenn gets hired, he's building his coaching staff, and there's rumors all over the place. I think it made sense to have a former head coach on the staff, and they did in Steve Wilks, a guy that, a sounding board to a lot of the
same side of the ball, though. Same side of the ball, though.
Which 100%, which is where I was going. That's where I think a lot of us were surprised. It made sense in theory to have a guy who's been a head coach before, but we thought that if you were going to go in one of two paths, and that's what they did. Steve Wilks, a guy that's not only been an NFL coach before, he's been a coordinator and defensive mind for like 30 years. He's been around forever. Tanner Engstrand, this is his first time being an offensive play caller at the NFL level. I think people assumed it would have been inverted. So AG has a reputation of being a defensive guy, although he hates hearing that. Anytime anyone brings that up at press conferences, get death glares and yelled at because he's like, I'm not a defensive coach. I'm a coach. I'm a coach of all football, not just that. So he takes a particular umbrage with that. But we all thought that if there was going to get the experienced offense guy to balance you, AG, who's a well-known defensive guy, and then get a young defensive play caller with upside, and you can be the Yoda to him, to his Skywalker. And if he needs any assistance, you pat him on the ass and explain whatever you need to, and let the offense guy run the ship. Have a guy that knows what he's doing. He's not learning on the job. Obviously, the Jets flip-flop that. Wilks is the guy who you say you're not sure if Tanner Engstrand's the guy, which is fair with everything we've seen. There's a lot of people saying Steve Wilks is on the end of his rope, and he could be let go at the end of the year. So a lot of changes could be coming for the Jets. So that could have been potentially, I guess we'll see when a quarterback gets brought in here and whether or not the Jets decide to keep Engstrand in this sort of offensive coaching room that they've built. But we'll see how it all works out. But it could be a fatal flaw potentially.
No, I don't disagree. And the other issue, and I know we're relitigating a lot of the past, but I think that that has to do with where the Jets are and where they're headed. When you hire Steve Wilkes as a defensive coordinator, you're neutering yourself as a play calling defensive coach, right? And I think that Steve Wilkes is a pretty accomplished defensive coordinator. You know, I think that he deserves maybe a second shot down the road as a head coach at some point. But if you're a defensive minded coach, I don't know why you're taking your philosophies and melding them with another experienced coordinator when you could be the guy installing the Lions concepts, installing the Lions defense, right? Go hire a quarterback whisperer. Go hire an experienced offensive coordinator. And I think that that experienced offensive coordinator is going to be critical to developing whoever the quarterback is.
Which, again, will be an important piece to the puzzle. A bunch of years ago, this gets brought up a lot on our show. God rest his soul. Greg Napper, his nickname, was supposed to be the glue to this young offensive staff under Robert Saleh when they drafted Zach Wilson, and he was with them throughout the spring. Unfortunately, had a tragic cycling accident out there on the West Coast where he lost his life, and then the Jets never replaced that position. I totally understand why. That would in some forms seem emotionless to sort of replace that position or replace a guy that meant so much to the team, but it also hurt the Jets not doing that, and then they tried to retroactively do it later, and at that point it was too late. So that was tragic, but you know, for the Jets and this future coaching staff's additions, whether it's AG or anybody, you need to have the right infrastructure. And there doesn't seem to be a clear guy with like a Napa resume that's clearly developed quarterbacks from A to Z, all different types and all these things. So we'll have to see if they make any other additions to that offensive staff, whether it goes as high as replacing Engstrand or bringing other people in the room. To me, that'll be pretty fascinating throughout this process. A name that's come up here, Matt, if the Jets decide to move on from Wilkes, is sort of in your same vein, but I guess it'd be swimming in the same waters, bringing in another head coach that was, but potentially as a coordinator. I see Jet fans been clamoring for, speaking of this week, Raheem Morris as the Atlanta Falcons head coach. He could be let go. What if you swoop him up as a defensive coordinator potentially to replace Wilkes? Does that rev your engine at all?
Yeah, I mean, I think there are some guys that are just great coordinators, right? I think that there are some guys that are great play callers, that they're up in the booth, that they're just not cut out to run a program. And the more you watch the Falcons, I kind of think Raheem Morris checks that box. And if you can get him after being fired, fine. But I just don't know. I don't know the value of being the defensive coordinator for the New York Jets with Aaron Glenn as the head coach if you're Raheem Morris, right? Because you want to run your defense. You want to run your scheme. You want to call your plays. And if you're the Jets, I don't know why you hire Aaron Glenn if you're not running the Aaron Glenn Lions system. So if I were the Jets, you know, I would promote whoever the hotshot defensive position coach is on staff, who you love, who Aaron Glenn respects. Then I would go out and I would spend all my resources on whoever. Brian Dable. Bring Brian Dable in as your offensive coordinator. Bring in, Mike McDaniel. Bring in an accomplished offensive coordinator to run and be the head coach of the offense. So that would just be me.
Hey, that would make a lot of sense. Again, we have 150. Can you hear me, Matt?
I got you loud and clear.
Hang on tight, folks.
We got some gremlins in the internet. It seems like we'll get this straightened out. But yeah, I just think that the philosophy of not hiring an experienced offensive coach was the undoing of the Jets, and the Justin Fields thing didn't work out. It just didn't. And I know why they went with Justin Fields. I understand wanting to bring in a quarterback with his kind of mobility in a run-based offense that they were trying to run, but it didn't work out. And I think that we've now once and for all seen that Justin Fields just isn't the guy. He's just not the guy. He's a quality backup to have in the room. He's not a starting quarterback. And that's why getting a quarterback, whether it's trading for one or drafting one early, is paramount for them.
Matt, can you hear me?
I got you loud and clear, brother.
Okay, weird. All right, sorry about the technical difficulties, folks, with the microphone. I had to switch microphones here in the middle of this thing, so apologies for that. But welcome everybody to the show. If you're just joining us, we have over 150 people in the room. Appreciate that. Make sure you guys like the video, hit subscribe, and as I mentioned earlier, today is the final day to submit your raffle tickets, baby. And we're doing this beautiful Marty Lyons giveaway. I'll throw this up on the screen. This is an autographed Marty Lyons jersey, a college football Hall of Famer, part of the Jets Ring of Honor, was part of the famed New York Sack Exchange in the 80s for the New York Jets. This is an autographed jersey by Marty Lyons. We also have a autographed Marty Lyons hat. Both of these comes with certificates of authenticity. If you want a chance to win these terrific prizes, just submit raffle tickets. You can do that if you're watching on YouTube. Hit the money sign, gift channel membership, super chat, super stickers, and all the like. And I see we already have one. Mother effing Chew gifting a Boy Green Coffee Club membership. You absolutely love to see it. Let's go. All right, that membership went to Howie K3. You are now a member to the Boy Green Coffee Club. Appreciate that. And at MFC, you're up to 22 raffle tickets. So thank you kindly for that as well. Matt, I'm afraid to ask this next question, but I will ask it anyway as part of the Between the Hash Marks column, talking about the NFL's best players stuck on bad teams. I'm afraid, as someone who's asking that question from a bad team, I imagine you had plenty of material, plenty of players to choose from across the National Football League here, Matt.
Yeah, and I think that when you look at the Jets roster, I thought long and hard about putting someone like Garrett Wilson on there. But between the injuries this year, not ranking in the top 50 of in receiving yards, and there were some better receiver options even in the New York market that I thought could fit the bill there. Wade going Brees Hall eventually landed on Devon Achane because I think that he's a little bit speedier. I think the Dolphins are a little bit worse of a roster overall, all things considered. More chaos there, and Achane seems to be thriving, a top 10 rusher in the league. But I wanted to spin this around to you because I kind of swoop in on the Jets just like I swoop in on 32 other teams. You live it every day. If you could make one addition to the best player stuck on a terrible team on a terrible roster, who's your pick for the Jets? Who's your guy?
Well, it would have been easy to go with Sauce Gardner. He's gone. Quentin Williams. He's gone. So those names immediately come off the board for the Jets. But again, you could talk about Brees Hall. That name certainly makes sense. I would probably say it's Garrett Wilson. He's a top 5 highest paid wide receiver in football. There's a lot of people in the social media streets that say, oh boy, if he was just not in that death hole there with the Jets, he would be in Justin Jefferson land and Jamar Chase land. And we'll never know that unless he actually does leave. But based on his contract, that isn't happening. But you never know, I guess, what can happen out there in the universe. Although the Jets apparently, when teams called about Garrett Wilson's availability at the deadline, said he is untouchable. So we'll see if that stance remains strong. But he would probably be the player, I imagine, if you sort of comb through the roster, unless you're going super in the weeds with one of their offensive linemen like Armand Membu or someone of that, or we are Oluwaseun Fashanu if you wanted to swim in those waters. But it'd probably be G-Dub after, again, now that Sauce and Quinnen are gone. I imagine it would be Garrett Wilson. Hopefully the Jets can do right by Garrett because, despite Garrett playing with like 12 quarterbacks since he's come into the league, he's put up these respectable numbers on a year-to-year basis, and he's been the Jets' most productive receiver through the first 3 years of a career than any Jets receiver in history. So, Garrett's been able to put up numbers, but I think all of us Jet fans are begging and praying to the gods that we can somehow randomly stumble into a quarterback, and then all of a sudden we can truly see what Garrett is and see just for most of our adult lives, seeing what a quarterback is supposed to look like a Joe Burrow, right? He comes back from 9 weeks off and just, boom, lights up the Baltimore Ravens. You're like, wow, that guy, that must be cool. I don't know. I've never had a quarterback like that, but that must be awesome to just happen. And all these other quarterbacks across the leagues. That's what Jet fans are begging and praying to the gods for sure.
Yeah, and I think that the Jets with Garrett Wilson, you get a quarterback, and now you're talking about potential launch pad territory if you nail the offensive coordinator hire, presuming you make a change. But I kind of like the seeds of that Jets receiving core, right? Because you have Garrett Wilson, John Mechie is stepping up over the last couple of weeks, making some big catches, especially in that Thursday night game a couple of weeks ago in New England. We just got to send Adonai Mitchell to the Wizard and get him some hands. He's got all that speed. Send him to the Wizard to get some hands, and you draft a receiver. Maybe Mitchell becomes your 3 or your 4, and you're fine, right? I mean, you have Breece Hall in the backfield. You have an improving offensive line. We like to bag on the Jets a little bit and say, "Ha ha! Look at the mistakes they've made." Quentin Williams reverse quit. He went from a quitzilla to a difference maker on a defense that's ascending for a Cowboys team that nobody's going to want to see in the NFC in the playoffs. Sauce Gardner, as a scout told me, you weren't going to maximize his value on that contract because you weren't going to be good enough in time for it to matter. But if they nail this rebuild, you get the quarterback, you get some young talent, you get one more wide receiver. You could be looking at a New England Patriots type of offensive resurgence in 2026 or 2027. And as Jets fans love to build, I think that it might be a fun little ride here the next couple off seasons.
Yeah, it is. To your point, it's funny, the receiving core at the beginning of the season versus what it looks like now, that there is these John Mechie III's, Adonai Mitchells, that while the straight raw numbers don't really say anything for Adonai Mitchell so far, the separation analytics, there's something there. John Mechie has just straight up raw numbers. He's been leading the team in a variety of categories, obviously with Garrett Wilson out. And then Garrett Wilson, we haven't seen him in forever because of the injury, unfortunately. So that'd be another one, too. There is a lot of upside there, and imagine another pass catcher could be added to that group moving forward. Let me ask you, in a general sense, to the column that you put together, again, these best players stuck on terrible teams. Who is the Shohei Ohtani that was stuck on the Angels and no one got to see him in the playoffs forever? Now all of a sudden he's on the Dodgers. He's a little bit in a different part of town. All of a sudden, whoa, World Series and accolades and all these other wonderful things are coming to him. Who is the Shohei Ohtani on the list that he's on some terrible team, but man, if you just put him somewhere else, who knows where his supernova could go?
Yeah, I think that the proof of concept was already a guy who was plucked out of a terrible situation and into a good one, and that's Jalen Phillips. I mean, you talk about the first game the Eagles played after that trade at Lambeau Field. He has two and a half pressures, including forcing a third down. He has the key sack against the Lions in a win. He's living in the backfield. I thought that Jalen Phillips was the guy who kind of said, okay, you take a guy from a terrible team, now he's a difference maker on a good team. And that was kind of the theory behind the column, that if these guys were playing on competent rosters, putting up the numbers and the production they're doing on terrible teams, they'd be pretty good. They might be the Shohei Ohtanis. I think that Wan'Dale Robinson, the Giants wide receiver, could be one of those guys. I think that he's a really solid number 2 receiver, potentially elite slot receiver, that you could put in an offense with a young quarterback as a slot guy, as a reliable guy, and
Okay, Matt, do we have you?
I got you. Do you have me?
Okay. I thought we lost you there for a second. That might have just been me. I'm just coming back into this. So
A lot of gremlins in the Wi-Fi tonight. I think we both need to talk to our ISPs before game time.
100%. Yeah, there's a lot of action coming here. Let me throw this out there because I see it in the comment section all the time. You have a lot of Eagles roots, Matt Lombardo, and there's a lot of different ways that the Jets can choose to carve this turkey from a quarterback aggressiveness standpoint. Someone that is continued to bring a name that continues to get brought up among Jet fans is Tanner McKee with the Philadelphia Eagles and potentially exploring a trade. Give us the skinny here, because there's a lot of people. I did do a show during the summer to explain who he was and sort of a little bit about his story, but a guy with Eagle roots. What can you tell us about this Tanner McKee, this backup quarterback that a lot of people seem to believe in the industry, if he got a starting gig and got that opportunity, he would flourish with it? What can you tell us about Tanner McKee?
Yeah, I mean, he's your consummate young developmental quarterback with a ton of upside. And he was forced into action last year, I think, in the Cowboys game when Jalen Hurts was hurt and Kenny Pickett went down, and played really well, moved the offense. Every time he's on the field, preseason or a couple regular season snaps, moves the ball. Teammates in the locker room seem to love him. And that's a really fascinating play for the Jets, if they don't love any of the quarterbacks in this class, Howie Roseman loves third and fourth round picks, right? Howie Roseman loves stockpiling third and fourth round picks to create flexibility on draft night, to move up the board in the first or second round, to move around late, to have these picks in his arsenal. You flip Philly at 3, a 4, a 5, something like that, with all the draft capital they have. It could be, if nothing else, Tanner McKee becomes competition for the quarterback you're drafting early. Maybe he's the bridge quarterback for the Jets. And if they draft a quarterback in round 1, you play McKee for 4 weeks and he lights it up. You trade him for a third round pick and you recoup your investment, or you upgrade your investment depending on what you get you send Philadelphia. So yeah, I could see him as a guy that would fit what they are trying to do, at least giving them some optionality if you're not going all in, having to trade up for Arch Manning or a Mendoza.
All right, 2 things here. First off, give us another one of your Cyber or Monday plugs. Again, it is in the YouTube description down below. There's a special custom link that people can take full advantage of. Please plug it. And anything else you would like to say here before you dip Mr. Matt Lombardo on a busy Sunday?
Absolutely. And again, if you're here, if you're watching this, I hope you're already a member of the Boy Green Coffee Club. Go all in, get your raffle tickets today, win the jersey, support Paul's work. A growing titan in the industry, pun intended with the jersey, but certainly well-deserved. Join the Coffee Club. But if you want to make a similar investment in NFL coverage, come on over to Between the Hash Marks. Cover the league nationally. You get the Monday column every Monday. If you used to read Peter King's Football Morning in America, you get that on Mondays. You get the mailbag every Friday where you can submit your questions. I'll pose them to NFL executives, agents, scouts, and coaches, get their answers. It's 55% off forever. So that's the price you're going to pay. If you lock in on an annual plan, it's 55% off every year. If you lock into a monthly plan, it's something like $3 a month forever. And the Jets are going to be a real focus of this offseason. When I'm down in Mobile, I'm going to be talking to agents who represent quarterbacks. What are you hearing about the Jets? Scouts, who do you think is the best fit for the Jets in this draft class? What are you hearing on what they're going to be doing? What are they doing with all that cap space? When I'm in Indy for the Combine, when I'm smoking cigars in the cigar bar, I'm going to be trying to talk to coaches about what they're hearing from the Jets and writing it on the Substack. It's 55% off forever. The link is below. And come on over. Try us out. Try us out for a few months. And one of the features coming up is going to be Jet-centric. The 3 moves the Jets make have to turn around the franchise this offseason. We do it every year. It's once teams are eliminated from playoff contention. It's the 3 moves they have to make to turn things around. The Jets will be coming up soon.
Well, both can't wait for that, but also it's depressing because that means they were eliminated from the playoffs. But so I'm looking forward to that in a lot of weird ways. But Matt, it's great to finally catch back up with all the craziness of travel and everything that's been going on my side. So appreciate it, pal, and looking forward to doing this a handful more times here moving forward.
Of course, brother, as long as you want to keep it rolling. We got a big offseason in New York. And happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Happy Thanksgiving to you, Paul. Hopefully it was great for you and the family. And I'll talk to you guys next week.
There he is, Matt Lombardo, baby. Again, special URL link down in the YouTube description down below. And the holidays were wonderful. And I also hope you guys have enjoyed all your holiday festivities. That is both Black Friday. We have Cyber Monday coming up. We had Thanksgiving a couple days ago. I was able to make our travels. We had some nasty weather apparently here, but I was able to circumnavigate all that action to get here for a game day episode. All righty, folks, let's open up the phone lines. We'll play a quick halftime out, and your phone calls will be welcome next here on the program. More coming up, BGD after this.
1, 2, 3. Whoa! Buzzing daily, buzzing daily, buzzing daily. Talking Jets football, man. Buzzing daily, buzzing daily, buzzing daily. The New York Jets Football Club. Offense, defense, special teams, watch Jets football with Boy Green. Everyone,
J-E-T-S, Jets.
Boy Green, buzzing daily, buzzing daily, buzzing daily. Talking Jets football, man. Boy Green, buzzing daily, buzzing daily, buzzing daily. Offense, defense, special teams, watch Jets football.
heard the hipster. Let's go, people. We got New York Jets, Atlanta Falcons. We got a game day episode of Boy Green Daily happening right friggin' now. I'm wearing the Brett Favre New York Titans jersey. I know some people don't like this jersey. I love it. It's our history. The Jets, from 1960 to 1962, the original franchise were the New York Titans. And then in 1963, they became the New York Jets. But these colors, which people say, oh, blue and gold, that doesn't make any sense. That is our history, folks. I love the green and white. I'm boy green, not boy blue. I'm boy green, not boy gold or boy yellow. But it's our history, and I love these jerseys and some good memories. Personally, I hope they bring them back. Apparently, a bit of a uniform hot take, but that's neither here nor there. I do enjoy this history. I also enjoy all the fans. So we're here on a game day episode. We'll also have the live watch party coming up on the program as well with the post-game show. Let's friggin' go. All right. More memberships being gifted. Our number one Austrian Jet fan, baby. That's what I'm friggin' talking about. Oh, yes, that membership was given to Harry W50. Harry W50, a new membership coming through on the channel. It's 116 raffle tickets for our number one Austrian Jet fan. But as Austrian already revealed a few days ago, if he wins the raffle, which for those who don't know, we do these raffle giveaways every single month here on the channel. We're going to give this away tomorrow, December 1st. Austrian Jet fan has already punted. When we spin the wheel, if it lands on Austrian Jet fan, we're spinning the wheel again and giving it to someone else. So, folks, this is a unique opportunity to win a prize. Again, Austrian has punted. He will not win it for himself. He won last month's raffle, so he's going to be giving back to the Boy Green Coffee Club if the randomizer lands on him. So it's all up to you guys in the universe. If you just spend $3, you'll have a chance to win this beautiful, again, Marty Lyons autographed jersey. I have it right behind me. Plus, we have this autographed Marty Lyons NFL hat as well. Both items going out the door. And good luck to all you guys. So you guys continue to submit your raffle tickets throughout all of our shows today. You guys can also use PayPal or Venmo. But at midnight tonight, when we're transitioning from November 30th to December 1st, everything is cut off. Any raffle tickets you guys submit after that fact will go towards our December raffle, which is coming up. And next month, we're celebrating a year of doing these raffles. We started those in December of last year. It's cool that we've been able to do these giveaways, what will be a full calendar year, which is terrific. So, guys, keep taking full advantage of that. They're $3 a piece, $3 a piece of the raffle tickets. You guys can take advantage of that on YouTube by hitting that little money sign on your screen. Thank you, Austrian, for jumping into the mix. All right, let's go to the phone lines up first. The Hepster here on the program. What's up, Hep?
Hey, Paul, what's the plan for today?
Yeah, so full shish kebab as normal. We'll do our live watch party. Come on about 12:50. We'll be there through 4-ish, few minutes of woo or and then boom, post game show. So oh yeah, we're back in full flower, baby.
Okay, that sounds pretty good. I'll be there. I've been looking at some of the quarterbacks coming out, and I like Ty Simpson.
Yep.
I like his poise. I like the way, I don't know, he just seems like pro ready. I know he only has a limited
sample size. Yeah, that's the one concern. Yeah, young kid.
But when I'm looking at him, because a lot of times I see these quarterbacks in college, and I'm like, the guy has all day to throw. How am I going to really judge that?
Sure.
But I've seen a lot of plays where he's like, guys are draped all over him, and he's making plays and making decisions and checking down reads. It's so it's just so crazy that we don't have a quarterback after all these years,
Eventually it's going to happen. It's going to be cool. I don't know when. Is it tomorrow? Is it next year? Is it 12 years from now? God, I hope not. But whenever it is, but it's going to make us appreciate it so much more. Like I said, I was seeing randomly Joe Burrow. I watch all the games when it's a Jets bye week or something. I'm watching the playoffs, of course, when the Jets aren't in it for 15 years in a row. And I'm like, man, these quarterbacks are so awesome. Like, we celebrate. Woohoo, we got a first down. They're like, yeah, we get 30 of those a game. I'm like, oh, that must be nice. Like, just the things that other people, like being a Colts fan, right? And you had Peyton Manning and Andrew Luck back to back for like 30 years. Or
the Packers too.
100%, right. I'm wearing the Favre jersey, right? To have Favre, Rodgers, Love, and it's just incredible someone was born the year Brett Favre was drafted for 40 years. They're like, oh, this is pretty sweet. Yeah, like they don't even know the struggle of what it is to go through Tim Boyles. Who the hell's Tim Boyle?
Well,
Oh, yeah, there's a
49ers
quarterback. They're in Packers land for a hot
Yeah,
second.
right. The 49ers, too. They just get quarterbacks all the time.
Yeah. Steve Young, Joe Montana, Brock Purdy, the last pick of the
Mr.
draft.
Irrelevant.
Hey,
Yeah, right.
who's this? Oh, okay, I guess he'll work. What the hell? They're stumbling into these quarterbacks. We're top 5 picks, top 10 picks.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers after the fact. We've tried like literally everything on the planet and nothing has worked. It's been unbelievable. So we got to be due. We got to be due.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I when I first got into the Jets, Joe Namath was the quarterback,
Sure.
and I haven't. That's when they feared our quarterback. They said, "Uh-oh, Joe Namath's here. We got to." I don't think we've had a quarterback since then that people were like, "Uh-oh, it's the Jets quarterback. We better buckle down."
Really, no matter what, whether you're talking about Kenny O in 1983 or you're talking about Chad in 2000, and I think those are guys that don't get nearly enough love from the Jets fan base, and they should get more. But I think you're right. Like the defensive coordinator is like, oh God, not Kenny O'Brien on the other side. Oh, gee, Chad Pennington. Oh no, Mark Sanchez. What are we gonna do?
Exactly.
With all due respect. I'm waiting for that to happen again. That'll be beautiful.
Yeah. So I'll give you a call later. I hope everyone else comes in. Talk to you later,
beautiful. Thanks, Hepster. Appreciate that. A quarterback that the opponents can fear. You love it. Like Garrett Wilson. Ooh, boy, where's Garrett Wilson? Oh, Breece Hall. Oh, where's Breece Hall? But, where is that for the quarterbacks? That'd be terrific. Ricky New York Live saying, I had that same exact jersey. Yeah, I sometimes get aggressive. They trade for Brett Favre. I get all goo goo gaga back in 2008, and I'm like, New York Titans jersey. Brett. I have a Brett Favre green and white one in there. I have a million of them, and you just jump on Aaron Rodgers. I got a gray one in there. I don't think I've ever worn. It just hasn't happened, so I'll randomly wear it at some point in the future. I got a black Aaron Rodgers one in there. I just get all uppity about whatever the situation happens to be, historically speaking. So sometimes that happens. Yeah. Oh, and Ricky New York Live from his phone call yesterday. But the former high draft pick wants to join the Vikings to battle McCarthy. It's not Zach. It's Zach Wilson. It's Anthony Richardson. Again, if I'm Anthony or any quarterback, quite frankly, we talk about Barbara. I saw your comment earlier about who wants to be here. She wants Jet players who want to be here on the team, and I agree. This is why, again, back to the Quinnen thing we talked about yesterday. My old man. Quinnen didn't want to be here, so blessed be he. We get a first and a second. They get Quinnen, and they're winning all these games. God bless. Good for them. He didn't want to be here, so see ya. If I was a quarterback and I was available, free agent, draft, whatever, and I could pick where I'd want to go, Minnesota would be a great place to go. Kevin O'Connell, former Jets quarterback legend. Shout out to Kevin O'Connell. We traded for him from the Detroit Lions back in the day. Shout out to that random trivia. But he is a quarterback whisperer, man. He has made chicken salad out of chicken you-know-what. If I'm a quarterback, I'd want to be in that room. And while J.J. McCarthy is one of the real first examples of someone failing so far under O'Connell, so maybe not everything he touches turns to gold. But if I'm Anthony Richardson, I'm a super talented guy. Let Kevin O'Connell get his hands on me and let me see if he could turn me into something. So that would be a great decision for Anthony or Trey Lance, who's a Minnesota guy. That would make a lot of sense if he ends up in Minnesota somewhere. That's what I would do if I was Trey Lance too. I'm sure there's a bunch of young quarterbacks, but if I was given advice, I'd say, Minnesota, the Purple People Eaters is a pretty nice place to go, I'd say, from that perspective. All right, let's go back to the phone lines here on the program. Appreciate you. Let's go to Nate. Nate the Great here on the program. What's up, Nate?
Paul, give me a second. I'm at work. If you got another person, give me.
We'll cycle back to you, Nate. That's all right. Let me see here. Let's go back to some comments here on the program. Let's go back to some comments here. MFC, my most comfortable Jet jersey are my blackout Jamal Adams, my green Aaron Rodgers. I got these are comfortable. These are the old Reebok jerseys. I really enjoy those. Some of the new ones, although unfortunately all the new ones I have, those players got traded away, and Quinnen Williams and Sauce Gardner. So I'll still wear those. Again, I'm a jersey freak, so I'll wear them no matter what. But so like Garrett Wilson, he's injured right now. I could wear it for him in spirit. Hop on Pop pointing out the boy green jersey choices. Yeah, I got a Vernon Golston 56 in there. I do have a Vernon Golston 56. That was his first number he had before he changed it to 50. And I thought that was the most. It just reminded me if I don't know if any of you guys remember this, but this guy, right? I think I got a little video for him. Where is he? Where is he? Oh, here he is. Terry Tate, offensive linebacker. Like he had the 56, and also you think of Lawrence Taylor immediately, the Reebok 56. It was just a sexy pass rusher number, 56. So when Vernon got there, he came from Ohio State. There's all this hubbub. I'm like, screw yeah, Vernon's going to be dominating the edge for the next 10 years. That didn't happen, but I do have that jersey in there. But it's not like I throw any of these jerseys away. I just wear them randomly. Some of them, like LaDainian Tomlinson, I love that jersey. It's one of my favorite jerseys in my collection. I love owning that jersey. I got all kinds of jerseys in there. Plaxico Burress. I just ran into a couple of Santonio Holmes ones I have in there. I have Santonio Holmes. I have an autographed Santonio Holmes. I don't wear that one. That one's framed. I got to change up the background here, which I will soon, to change up some of the stuff you guys see from a visual perspective. But I do have Vernon Golston in there as well. Yeah, he's the best. As Uncle Indy says, hit that like button, baby. Make sure you guys like the video. That's a free way to contribute here on the program. We're here on a game day episode. 200 people in the room. Appreciate that across our social media portals. Let's hit the refresh button. Let's see how many likes we have on the old YouTube channel for this video. Only 34 likes, people. We got 200 people watching across our social media platforms. Make sure you guys like that video. Appreciate it here on the program. I do have another topic I do want to get into, but I'm going to try to save it for tomorrow, although positive things could happen. But I'll just get into it a little bit here. I wrote a piece about it. It came out this morning. Something that pisses me off, and I don't really want to do this on a game day because I'm so cheery. I'm like, woo, Jets play today. I can't wait. And that is genuine cheeriness. I can't wait. I love watching the Jets play. Something that pisses me off is this. Rich Cimini comes out every Sunday with a column, and it's like, what's happening around the Jets. He normally comes up with some really cool nuggets, and I know some of you don't like Rich, but I love Rich. And he comes up with some cool nuggets that no one else has, and it is absolutely appointment reading for me. It comes out at 6 a.m. every Sunday, and I'm on the edge of my seat, like, let's go, let's read it. And in his column today, there was a piece about Justin Fields, and basically, I could just read it for you. This is from Rich Cimini, and he has little bullet points, like little subheadings. He has 10 things that are like happen around the Jets, and his bullet point number 9 was not a fan. Not a fan. He reveals this. Justin Fields says there's been some discussion about using him in a Wildcat role. And again, pause time real quick. That makes a lot of sense. I think they should have done it against the Baltimore Ravens last week. Why not? Justin Fields, okay, throwing the football, yeah, there's some issues. And again, maybe we'll get into this on the show tomorrow in full flower. Issues throwing the football, no question. He's been terrible throwing the football consistently. But running the football has been really good. Why wouldn't you keep running him? Like, okay, Tyrod's a starter. Makes more sense. You want to evaluate the offense. Totally get that. Makes all sense in the world. But why wouldn't you use Justin Fields in a Wildcat role? Like, and they didn't use him at all, by the way. Spoiler alert. And the Baltimore Ravens game didn't use him at all. But Justin Fields confirms that he and the Jets have had discussions about using him in that role. Okay, again, makes a lot of sense. Unfortunately, Justin Fields has, quote, mixed feelings about it, according to Rich Cimini. Going in cold, Justin Fields says, creates the potential for a soft tissue injury. So, long story short, Justin Fields not a fan of being used in a Wildcat role by the Jets. Excuse the fuck out of me? You're not a fan? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know this was a hey, here's the offensive game plan. Hey, Justin, what do you think about it? What do you think about it? Oh, you don't want to do that? Okay, we won't do that. What? Dude, we're paying you. The Jets, are paying you $30 million guaranteed dollars. If we tell you to jump, you respond how high? That Justin Fields has mixed feelings about it, and obviously the Jets explored a Wildcat package with Justin. You know what that means? The Jets wanted to use Justin Fields in a Wildcat package. Justin had mixed feelings about it, and we didn't see him in the Wildcat role against the Baltimore Ravens. What in the world? I don't give a shit. what Justin Fields wants or doesn't want. He's a member of the team. He wears the green and white. When the coach tells you to do something, you do it. That's how this process works, man. So I don't care if you have mixed feelings. And here's the truth of the matter. Here's the truth of the matter. The Jets paid Justin Fields $30 million guaranteed dollars. And obviously, he is not going to receive that money based on his quarterback prowess. He's just going to receive it based on his football abilities. Justin Fields is a dynamic rushing threat. And I have this written in the piece. He ran for over 1,100 rushing yards in 2022. That's the second most rushing yards a single quarterback has ever had in a single season. Here's this. Justin Fields has averaged around 43 rushing yards per game this year. That is the most on average by any quarterback in football that's played in at least 9 games. So, again, Justin Fields throwing the football, terrible. 139.9 passing yards per game. That's last in the league for quarterbacks that have played in at least 9 games. So, dead last in the NFL. But in rushing, first. In terms of average rushing yards per game. So again, rushing the football, Justin Fields can provide. And a Wildcat package could be very interesting. But the fact of the matter is that Justin Fields says, mixed feelings. I could get injured. You could get injured walking out of your house and getting hit by a bus. You're getting paid $30 million. You do whatever the goddamn thing they tell you to do, man. Oh, that boil my blood. I'm reading this at 6 a.m. My kids are asleep. My fiance is there, and I'm freaking reading this on my phone in my bed. I'm like, and I had to go into another room, and I don't know what to do with my hands, so I just brushed my teeth aggressively. And then I'm like, I got to write about this, and I wrote a piece about it, but it's a game day episode, so I wasn't going to spin it completely out of whack. What? Mixed feelings? This isn't a patty cake walk around. Hey guys, I was thinking this is the game plan. Are you guys for it? All right, let's raise some hands. Let's get a vote count in. Oh, 7 of you don't want to do it. You know what? Fuck it. We won't do it. What do you guys want to do? What in the world? This is the NFL, man. Come on. Oh, pissed me. Oh, I'm infuriated. And I defended Justin. I'm like, Justin, what a great guy. What a team guy. Team guy my ass. You could help the team in a Wildcat role. You're like, injury. How selfish. You're getting paid $30 million, dude. Pissed me off. All right, let's go to the phone lines. Plenty of people want to get on. Hey, look, it's Hop on Pop.
All right. Hey, now. I would like to welcome Rich Samini and Boy Green to the party. Who's been advocating for the Wildcat? This guy. Who told Justin Fields to suck it if he didn't want to do it? This guy. So, absolutely, he needs to suck it, or this is Jets out of his guaranteed contract.
Sure, if that's bad. Yeah, I think I've been advocating for Wildcat. I haven't been. Some people have gone above and beyond saying, just learn running back, buddy, or just learn be Tim Tebow, play tight end. We can have that conversation. But straight up as a Wildcat quarterback where you wouldn't use his skills in a package, and apparently Justin Fields confirmed. Now, you guys can't see the press conferences because they don't videotape backup quarterback press conferences. He's no longer the starter, so that's not available footage to everyone else. So we have to hear it of word of mouth. I have to hear what Rich Samini reports because I can't watch that press conference. It's not available for anyone to watch. This is happening at Justin Fields' locker. But he confirmed that the Jets have approached him about this using the Wildcat. They wouldn't approach him if they weren't interested. So obviously the Jets wanted to do it, and Justin apparently didn't want to do it. And it didn't happen in week 12. So I can only imagine Jets went well, if you don't want to do it, then all right, we'll just do something else. And I'm like, that's fucking nuts. I don't give a if you tell him to do it, and he's like, I'm not so sure. Oh, I didn't know I was asking. I was telling you we're running this shit coming up on Sunday. So to me, and I was talking about this with Jake Asher this week. We were doing one of the recorded interviews, and I said, "Oh man, I'm surprised they didn't run it." And Jake's like, I'm not surprised they didn't run it. Maybe they could have, maybe they couldn't have. And I'm like, man, I thought for sure. Why wouldn't you do it? It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, here's the approach. Hey, Justin, we're putting you in at the Wildcat this week. Well, are you asking? No, I'm not asking. I got 30 million reasons why I'm not asking. But there is a similarity, a parallel, if you will, between Justin Fields and Brett Favre. Did you know that?
No. Oh, boy. This is probably going to be inappropriate, but go ahead.
Justin Fields has almost got a 1-to-1 passing yards to rushing yards ratio per game. Almost. Brett Favre has a 1-to-1 ratio touchdowns interception on his only season with the Jets. Coincidence? I think not.
Well, okay. Thank you, Pop, for that. Yes, unfortunately, I remember Brett Favre's statistics from the 2008 season. He had 22 touchdowns and 22 interceptions. Now, it wasn't that way all season. He had a game. I was at my pop's house. I think he was at the power plant working. The Jets played the Arizona Cardinals at home, and they were wearing these beautiful jerseys, if I do remember correctly. And Brett Favre threw 6 touchdown passes in that game. And I'm losing. Kurt Warner's throwing pick sixes to Darrelle Revis. Anquan Bolden had this scary hit. He seemingly caught this touchdown at the goal line, and Eric Smith fucking whomped him in the face, and he fucking just like bleh, and falls to the ground. He breaks his jaw. Eric Smith and Kerry Rhodes came fucking colliding into Anquan Bolden, and his limp carcass just fell down to the canvas. I was like, Jesus Christ, good Lord. And he had a broken jaw, and he's a tough son of a gun. They wired it shut, and he played other games that season. He's a freak. But that game was crazy. 6 touchdown passes. So there were moments where like, hey, Brett freaking Favre, baby. 8-3 start. But he had a torn bicep. He never told the team they finished 1-4. And they went from talking number 1 seed Super Bowl to missed the playoffs. And that was depressing. Very depressing indeed. All right, let's go back to the phone lines. Frankie here on the show. What's up, bud?
How you doing, BG? Hope everybody had a wonderful Thanksgiving. And I wasn't going to call in until you you didn't piss me off. I guess Justin Fields pissed me off. I don't understand these players.
Yeah.
Okay. Does he realize he sucks?
Right.
I mean, does he realize he can't fucking throw a ball?
Well, apparently not, because I don't know if you heard the stuff from earlier in the week where Justin Fields was like, whoa, totally blindsided by the bench. Didn't see that one coming. So apparently not. Apparently he doesn't.
Exactly. So I don't understand these quarterbacks like Zach Wilson and Justin Fields and some of these players that just don't understand where they stand on the team or what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are. Justin Fields, I think, like your father said, and everybody probably agree, it'd be great in a Wildcat. Okay, I never advocated for him to become a wide receiver or a full-time running back, but to have him on the team as a backup who can run the Wildcat and do that, I always thought that would be great. And I actually thought they should have, even during the season, I think one of the failures they had was they tried to make him a pocket passer, where that's really not what he was. He probably should have ran more than than they actually had him run. But to say that you don't want to do it because you don't want to get, I mean, you're a football player. What the hell's going on in the world?
And also, we're not asking him to do anything that no one else in the world is.
Right, exactly right.
In the games. Go to any fucking Tyrod Taylor when Lamar Jackson and Joe Flacco, actually it would predate Lamar Jackson. When Joe Flacco was in, they had Tyrod Taylor packages where Joe Flacco, $120 million quarterback, either got his ass to play slow wide receiver on the outside, or he went to the bench for Tyrod Taylor, who was a 6th round pick. People do this in the league all the time. So I'm like saying Taylor Sterling is having this in. He says he didn't want to come in cold and get hurt. How is that? I don't want to run. Samini is a rat. Come in cold. What other choice does he have? He's not going to be the starter. So the only way is to come in cold. Taysom Hill's coming in cold. Tyrod Taylor's coming in cold. These other guys are all doing it. What are we talking about?
You got wide receivers sometimes coming in cold for a couple plays. I mean,
sure.
You got to keep your body, keep it warm, keep it going.
Figure it out.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Figure it out.
Yeah.
So the other thing I wanted to ask you about was, we talked about McKay as a,
the Eagles
opportunity.
Kid,
I don't know much about him, obviously, other than he's a backup and with the Eagles. And then my idea was also Marcus Mariota possibly is a bridge.
Yeah.
Just in free, so you don't have to lose a pick on him or waste or not waste you don't have to trade a pick. You just kind of would probably sign him if he's probably become available.
Yeah, I'll probably send you this. For McKee, The Athletic wrote this great piece over the offseason, talked about his battle back from cancer and his talent and why all these insiders around the league think, man, he's got starting potential, but obviously in Eagles land, he's buried behind Jalen Hurts, so that's never going to happen, so that he could be traded. So I'll try to send you along that Athletic article. My only fear on Marcus Mariota is this. I love Marcus. I loved him coming out of college. It seemed like his culture was very strong with his family. He was very respectful, and he never caused any problems except for, it's ironic that it happens to be Falcons week because that's where it happened. There was a very weird situation with Marcus where he seemingly maybe quit on the team and surgery, not surgery. There's a whole thing there. You guys could give that a Google search. A very, again, sometimes, employee to employer relationship. Sometimes it's not all on the employee. Sometimes employer does shit and it's a weird thing. So I'm not trying to totally blame Marcus here, but I just remember a lot of weird energy around that. It seemed to suggest it was, I can't remember if it was Desmond Ritter or who the other quarterback was, but something happened where Marcus was replaced. He didn't love being replaced. It just sort of left the team high and dry at it somewhere. So that's worth a search if they can figure out whatever the hell that weird thing was. Because, again, it seems like he's been great for Jaden Daniels. I like not giving up a pick and a guy who's mobile and again, he's well-respected and that sort of thing. I don't hate that.
Yeah. All right. Hope everybody had a wonderful Thanksgiving and great show again as usual. Thanks.
Appreciate it, Frankie. Thank you. Yeah, again, this Fields thing just boils my blood. Like, it just boils my blood. There's just, okay, he is coming cold. Other people have to come in cold. It's something that's been asked of in the universe a million times over for other quarterbacks to do that. And that is a way you could help the team. Justin says, he said it in one of his recent press conferences, anything I can do to help the team is what I'm all about, is what I'm all for. If that's true, then strap the fuck up, buddy. And if they ask you to play Wildcat, you play Wildcat. You do what is there for the team. And if you get hurt, that's why you have $30 million guaranteed, man. You're playing football. You could get hurt doing anything at any time. And now you're not going to be the starting quarterback because you stink. Take it on the chin. So help them in any other way you can, which is running the football. You are a talented runner. And they're saying, hey, man, for a special set of plays, you could help this team. And saying, I have mixed feelings about it. Mixed feelings. We weren't asking you how you felt about it. We're asking you to do it. And they didn't do it with him. And I would imagine it's because of all this extracurricular activity, which, again, is bonkers. All right, let's go back to the phone lines. I believe we've got Nate back on the road. What's up, Nate?
Hey, sorry about that, Paul.
No, that's all right. Yeah.
So I'm watching college football this weekend. I hate to agree with Alan, but I do agree with Alan that I'm kind of on the train where I would be mad if we're trading up for any of these quarterbacks. People always say it's a crapshoot, right? And Mendoza, Simpson, whatever. Nobody's catching any eyeballs, even just to a layman. So I would be uneasy and it wouldn't feel good on draft night if we traded all these assets we got for Quinnen and Sauce for a potential quarterback. I know we need the position. I would just rather take a guy when he falls to us.
Okay, yeah, because that was going to be my question. So, if would you feel differently? So, if a guy the Jets pick 3, 4, 5, who knows, and then a quarterback just happens to fall into their lap, like Mendoza or Simpson or whoever that guy is, you're okay with taking that swing?
Yeah, I just don't want to throw capital. We threw capital at and even when we get it right, we kind of got it right with Sam Darnold, even though we got it half right because we had Josh Allen. We blindly traded up for a quarterback we didn't know was going to be there, and then where it wasn't able to develop him. So yeah, I'd rather just sit and wait for now, unless there is like that Andrew Luck type of guy in the draft. It just doesn't look like any of these guys are worth doing that. I just think it would be kind of not to be a SOJ kind of guy, but it'd be like it would be a Jets move all of a sudden. I feel like if they move up for a guy and then all of a sudden he's not going to be Josh Allen, that's the guys you trade up for. But anyway, the
let me
draft.
Ask you this real quick because I see it in the comment section as well, and I can understand the people that have these thoughts. I think it was from MFC. So there's a lot of people saying, sort of to the front of what you said, that this 2026 quarterback class isn't great. Maybe we should just wait till 2027. And a guy like MFC, and I've heard other people say this, like everyone said 2026 is going to be great. It doesn't look like it's going to be at the quarterback position. But don't worry, 2027 is going to be great. So we're supposed to believe the same people who initially told us 2026 was great. Just kidding, it's not. But 2027 really is.
Well, no, I'm not. But I'm not saying to wait on 27.
Oh no, I'm not. I'm not saying you are. I'm saying, what do you think of that idea? Because that's what some people are suggesting.
I mean, I don't know enough about 2027 quarterbacks, and apparently nor does anyone else on the planet. So,
apparently, right.
So I think we got to trust Mushi right now. I just think he's a guy that's a little more, he values his draft picks. He's a guy that thinks he could turn 6 rounders into starters, as he did. It looks like multiple times with Briggs and Brownlee and whatnot.
Yeah.
And that takes me to my next point with Briggs and Brownlee. I don't think this is going to happen, right? But my I was working overnight, so my mind is a little woozy right now.
All right.
And I'm trying to get into the mind of Darren Muji, and I'm like, all right, he kind of makes these preemptive trades of guys we just talked about, 6 conditional 7s, whatever. He'll make a pick swap and a trade for a Brownlee that he thinks can be a starter, or a Briggs, or a Phillips. He's seen it a bunch of times, and then a star at that position got traded. And again, I don't know if it's a coincidence. It's not like, oh, because we had Brownlee, we traded Sauce, right? The physical player, we all think he's going to play in the future for the Jets in 2026, and the coaching staff likes him. And all of a sudden, the team's a little bit more willing. He's not going to be Sauce. I'm not saying that, but the team's a little bit more willing to move away from a star corner, getting major draft capital. And then all of a sudden, same thing happens with the D tackle. So, is there a chance in the offseason that all of a sudden we wake up and Garrett's gone for 2-1? Like Mitchell and AD are 2 guys, but I'm not saying they're gonna be number ones, but they're Muji and AG guys. They're like, all right, yeah, Mitchell and Metro are working out. They're gonna be our depth receivers, maybe a 2, maybe a 3, or whatever. We don't think Garrett's a true number 1, and we can get true number 1 value back in draft capital and draft Carnell Tate or Jeremiah Smith and whatever. There's always seems to be a ton of wide receivers these days. But is there a possibility that we wake up and that's what Muji's planning? Like, Garrett's not their guy at the price they paid.
Well, I'll tell you that your whatever you call it, midnight brain of think about it. I had never thought about that way that you just described it, that they trade for Jarvis Brownlee, eventually Sauce goes. They trade for Juwan Briggs, eventually Quinnen goes. I had never thought about it.
They trade for 2 D tackles, yeah. Now we got 2 wide receivers that are getting a lot of snaps.
That's interesting.
And obviously Garrett can't do anything, but Garrett hasn't really lost any value this year. He's still the 1,000-yard receiver that gets 1,000 yards with anyone for the most part this year. Kind of looked like it isn't going to happen. I got to tell you on that. He had Justin Fields throwing to no one, holding the ball the whole time. So, it's not. I don't think his value dropped due to his first injury in his where are we, 4th year?
Yeah, I wouldn't think so.
I don't know. Just my 4 a.m. thoughts. And also on Fields, I don't know why Fields getting talked about in the Wildcat. Is that just a BG topic today?
Yeah, so like I said, Rich Samini this morning wrote that, and again, these press conferences for backups aren't available for us to watch, so we just have to rely on the reporters. But Justin Fields told Rich Samini that the team approached him about playing the Wildcat position. I don't know if it was the Ravens game or in the future or what. And Justin told the team they had mixed feelings about it because he doesn't want to come off the bench cold turkey and get hurt. And that sort of pissed me off because I'm like, why wouldn't you?
I'm with you.
If you're the Jets, why wouldn't you? He sucks as a passer, clearly, obviously, but you already paid him $30 million guaranteed. If you could use Justin a Wildcat, even for a handful of plays, and it mixes shit up, like why wouldn't you? From the Jets' perspective, it makes plenty of sense. And I don't get the Justin Fields. You're getting paid $30 million guaranteed.
That's wrong. That's wrong. That's wrong on his behalf, especially as the captain of the team, right? He should kick it if they wanted to kick it. But well, here's football wise, right? Here's my only point football wise, right? Okay. He doesn't run between the tackles. He doesn't want to run between the tackles. He can't run between the tackles.
Sure.
It's not going to happen. So to put a guy out there in the Wildcat that can't run between the tackles doesn't really add up for me. You know what I'm saying? It's just like you're putting in a quarterback who can't throw. He's our Wildcat guy. You put him in, everyone knows he's running. And then he also is going to run right or left straight to the perimeter because he's too scared, or like I said, he can't run in between the tackles. He's not really the running back that everybody claims he is, unfortunately. He's just a perimeter style runner. That's kind of the difference between him and Jalen Hurts too. I think that's why we haven't seen as many pushes as folks have wanted to see. But you've escorted me all the way home, so thank you.
Yep, appreciate it. Yeah, thanks, Nate. Yeah, I would just carry off that point to say this again. I don't have every Wildcat play that the Jets have ever run in their history, but I probably wouldn't run anything empty. And empty, I mean where Justin Fields is in shotgun and everyone else is split out wide. And in that case, you're right to Nate's point about running between the tackles, because that could be a QB draw situation potentially. But I imagine if I'm a defense, I totally know that's coming. If I ever ran any Wildcat play with Justin Fields, I'd have Justin Fields in shotgun, and I would insert Breece Hall, Isaiah Davis, Braylon Allen, who's not healthy enough to be with us, but any player like that, and it'd be read option. all day long. And maybe there's more creative, not maybe. There's definitely more creative stuff you could do beyond that of stuff with Justin. But I'd be running that mesh point all day long where it's Justin Fields. I'm Justin Fields. I'm holding the ball. I put it in the gut of Breece Hall, and I'm reading the defensive end. Is he slamming inside or is he playing contain? And then based on what he does, I either hand the ball off to Breece or I keep it and try to run outside. I wouldn't be running inside if I was Justin. So that's just what I would say from the Wildcat perspective is if I'm a defensive end, I respect Justin Fields' ability as a runner much more than Tyrod Taylor, with all due respect. So you have to make a more respected, I have to honor Justin Fields' unique abilities more than I do Tyrod Taylor in a run mesh situation. So that's why, from a Wildcat perspective, if that's just the thing with again, it bothers me. I don't get it. We'll see what happens today. If Justin again is not used in that way, I'm sure I'll be yelling about it even more on Monday. So I think that's just selfish. And he is a guy that literally said a week ago. It couldn't have been this week because, again, his press conferences aren't available because I watched him say it. But it was a week or 2 weeks ago. He said, whatever I could do for the team is something I'm willing to do. I just want to help this team win. If that's true, he will fucking strap up and go out there and help the Jets in these Wildcat situations. So we'll see if that happens. Again, that just grinds my gears. I wrote a column about it. You guys can respond to it, react to it in the comment section, and let us know. But that is absolutely fucking infuriating. For a guy to be having that kind of energy. And I appreciate people that play devil's advocate and things of that nature, like Taylor Sterling going on the other side and understanding Justin Fields' perspective. I'm glad that we can have conversations and play devil's advocate and go to the other sides. I don't understand Justin Fields' perspective one iota. Yes, is it less ideal to go cold turkey than being just warmed up? Sure. Okay. But you have to operate with what you operate with. When I was on because I love comparing myself to these super athletes, I was on a YMCA basketball team. I, for the most part, came off the bench. Coach, actually, I'd rather be more limber. Can you put me in the starting lineup? That'd warm me up better than you just asked me to come off the bench. No, they came off the bench, said, Paul, here's your 5 minutes or whatever the time was. Hey, we need this from you. Deliver it or go back on the bench. Okay, coach. Here we go. And we go out there and try to make a play and make things happen. That's it. The Jets are saying, hey, Justin, figure it out. Other people figure it out. We're not asking you anything that any other team hasn't asked. They're uniquely, Brad Smith, you're uniquely qualified player. Brad Smith didn't get to warm up. He was cold turkey coming out there on these Wildcat packages unless he was returning a kick in that unique situation. But for the most part, these players are coming off cold turkey. Justin, strap the fuck up. Do it for your team. Don't be selfish. That's the overall overriding message here. I want to give a shout out here to MFC and Austrian for gifting raffle tickets today. We have a couple more shows today, so you guys have some more opportunities to make your raffle tickets in for this beautiful Marty Lions jersey. Again, we've got the live watch party and play-by-play analysis coming up in a couple hours, and we'll also have the post-game show coming up around 4:30-ish. Of course, time pending on whatever happens with the game. So you guys will be able to submit your raffle tickets then for that as well. Thank you, everybody, for tuning into the show. It's great to be back home. Hope you guys all had happy holidays. And it's a game day, baby. So let's freaking go. More coming up here on the Boy Green YouTube channel. We'll see you in a